Hey everybody, welcome to a commentary for Janna, the Storm's Fury. This is a video that was requested by a few people, requesting that I actually talk about what I think of the mechanics of supports, well, in Season 2, and what I think of them now. Because one of the things I actually may have told you in one of my previous videos is that actually support is one of my better roles. It's not... My solo top skills are all right. I mean, I know the general of what you're the general idea of what you're supposed to do at solo top, but when it comes to supporting, there's just something that you can really take into consideration with me, is that the fact that I know when to go in on things and when not to, because one of the most important things about supports is making plays for your AD carry, because as everybody knows, feeding your AD carry means that it's pretty much good game throughout the game as long as your AD carry doesn't throw very hard. So, without further ado, this is a commentary for Janna. And actually, I went into this game not really thinking much of my Janna skills. In fact, she wasn't traditionally my best support, like by any stretch of the imagination. Because last time I played her, I didn't really feel like I did much or anything. But ever since then, I've learned more about the mechanics of what you do as a support laner. Namely, what you do to help make plays with certain AD carries. Because something that's important to keep in mind with as a support is knowing what AD carry you have. And depending on what AD carry you have, you're supposed to do different things. Now with Janna, she's very flexible, but she does kind of badly against certain supports. Sona is alright against her, but the thing is, I was confident in my ability to know exactly what Sona was going to do, and that's one of the most important things to know when playing Janna, is to know exactly what the enemy support has in mind for the AD carry, namely what their goal is for the lane. In this lane, I knew it was definitely poking, so what I did was I just tried to bait out her Q, and the trade on the support was more than on me. However, Vayne let herself take free damage here, so it was kind of unfortunate. However, I did end up weakening the support, but in turn, my AD carry was weakened because she's very weak early, whereas Ashe is pretty average early, but she can still do remarkably well against Vayne ordinarily. So we end up taking a bit too much damage. However, Sona keeps getting more and more damaged, and eventually she does hit 2, so I'm kind of wary of that. Both of them are level 2, so I had my trigger finger on the shield there, so that I could figure out whether Ashe or Sona were going to poke me, because really that's what this lane is going to be about, is Ashe and Sona both putting on a lot of pressure on Vayne and I. Especially Vayne, because if you push Vayne out of lane and get the advantage over her, the only time she can really come back is really late game, when she's at her strongest. So it was really good that they were putting on that early pressure on us, but I ended up being able to pretty easily poke them back. Especially since one of the things you're supposed to do with Janna is use your slow and your auto attack damage with your shield to your advantage, and then they try to retaliate, then just auto attack them back, because you get a bunch of AD from your shield, especially late game. Keeping that in mind, like Nunu, Janna is a very late game oriented support. She focuses on peeling, and she focuses on making really big plays. She's not a horribly damaging support, but what she can do is offer a lot of crowd control, like knockbacks, knockups, and slows. And she can also help shield her AD carry from certain danger. Especially against a lane like this, which is really not very fast. There's not a whole lot they can do. So the thing is, they knew we were getting aggressive. The problem was we both kind of showed that we had someone coming. So it was kind of unfortunate. Kind of wish the Lee had reacted a bit quicker though, because if he had, he probably could have dashed to Vayne, used his Q, gone in, and probably could have picked up first blood there. But anyway, it doesn't end up being that bad. I mean, unfortunately, we're gonna get first blooded on pretty soon here, but no big deal really. Anyway, I'm kind of doing my job. Like I said, my job is just to kind of shield every so often, especially in this lane where there's a lot of aggression coming our way. Sona and Ashe against Vayne against Vayne Janna is a very aggressive, how do I say it? It's a very aggressive lane because they can do a lot more than we can early game. But really my goal right now is not to outright kill someone until I hit like 6. And you'll see pretty soon that kind of thing happening. So, this is just Vayne farming at the tower. I probably should have just shielded the tower, but I didn't want to deny my Vayne any last hits. Right there, they didn't end up damaging me much because I had my shield on, so might as well use it while I have it on me. So, and right here, Vayne's good at peeling for me, and they tried to like go for me. I don't know what that was about, but here comes Lee. He feels like he has to babysit us, but I don't think he really needed to, because we had it. I mean, we were a little behind in lane. I mean, I think yeah, Ashe had a little bit more farm than Vayne did, but it ended up being that bad. I end up helping save this Lee, but we're pretty much getting hardcore camp there. I don't know why Ashe burned her ghost, but she's gonna really lose out on an escape later on because she burned it, so her loss, I guess. Anyway, I'm just straightening up the scoreboard here. I just wanted to make it a little more linear. Mundo's kind of counter jungling us. It's kind of unfortunate. Katarina's out of position. She's gonna be the first one to get first blooded here. So, unfortunately, a bit of an unfortunate kill there. But in the meantime, top is actually winning pretty hard. And the only reason I'm going over this top lane is because right here he dies to creeps and ignite. So that ends up being pretty good for Jax. He was very good on going in on things that he could go in on and staying away from things he could not. It's always good when Jaxes know that, because in the most capable hands, Jax is, in my opinion, probably the strongest top lane in the game right now. But and right there, I put on that really clutch shield, because if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't done the shield right then, her health would have been like chunked to like 1/4. So, especially with Vayne's low base stats, it was like imperative that I negate that poke so that she could stay in lane longer. So, anyway, there's been a lot of talk about how Janna has been kind of nerfed beyond repair. I don't really think that's true. Her job hasn't really changed. It's just that you have to do a little bit different wardage. I mean, a little bit different rune, a little bit of a different rune page on her. I'm sorry, I can't talk at all today. One of the things that I do on Janna, and what I do on all defensive supports, is I just go like pretty much flat armor runes, like on all of my rune slots. Like I go armor reds, armor yellows, magic resist per level, or magic resist flat blues, depending on what lane it is, and movement speed quints, because I like movement speed quints on Janna because that's just gonna enable me to escape even quicker. I don't know why the Sona didn't try to keep Vayne from being. I guess because they didn't want her to or something. I don't know. But regardless, anyway, as I was saying, Janna's job didn't really change. It's just that her base stats got a little outclassed by a lot of supports, namely Lulu. Lulu, as I said, she's very, very strong. I really like her. But as I said, what's it called? Lulu has been one of my more favorite supports lately. And right here, actually, I don't really get poked for very much, so that's good. Anyway, Janna's job didn't change. She's still a peeler, but it's just that she has a hard time surviving against a lot of aggressive supports. Taric, she can keep him from being as aggressive. The thing is, she's very good at keeping people from being overly aggressive. That being said, sometimes it's hard for her to do anything against someone like Leona, who pretty much CC locks her in place, and there's very little she can do. So if I were you, and if you're an avid support player like I am, and you want to figure out certain matchups, if you see a Leona on the enemy team, I would not highly recommend using Janna in that situation. Right here, I wanted to make a play happen because I saw Lee there, but for some reason he ends up going around instead of going for us right here. And so then he's seen. I don't know why he took so long to... I don't understand why he took so long to do that, but... And right here, Sona ends up getting the kill on Vayne, but whatever. I mean, this Ashe ends up getting greedy for me, so Lee ends up getting a double kill because Ashe kind of misplayed there. So our Vayne died. Not really my favorite thing in the world. I mean, I'm playing as Janna. I'm supposed to keep Vayne alive as long as I can. But as a result, our jungler got a double kill, so it didn't end up ending as badly as I thought it was going to. So going back, got my boots, Philosopher's Stone, and a Vision Ward for early dragon control because I want to keep everybody down in this matchup here. Lee ends up ghosting, so I don't think he's gonna like die or unless like something really bad happens. Like I don't know why this Mundo is slowly killing himself too. He's being really aggressive, and that ends up killing him because he kept chasing Lee for too long, and as a result, now our Vayne has a kill and our Lee Sin has an assist from that kill. So we have early dragon control now because I have a Vision Ward, and if anybody is stupid enough to try to come up here and ward, Lee, Vayne, and I are all going to kill them. So there's that. Unfortunately, I didn't see that Sona was going to ward there. I should have waited in there for a little longer so that I could see if they were going to have any vision there. And if I saw that early, if I saw that really early, I would have been able to go, hey, yeah, right here. I get her to pop my shield because I just want to exhaust her poke. That way she can't use it on my Vayne here, and that keeps her alive even longer. So again, keeping your AD carry in lane as long as you can is one of Janna's most important roles. You don't always have to make plays like I do, just keep in mind that you just need to keep your AD carry alive. That play that I made with my ultimate is strictly optional, I believe, because you don't always need to, like, you know, here's an example of me making some kind of play. I don't think we could have caught her if I didn't use my Q there, because Sona used her ulti there, and I'm pretty sure she still had her flash up, so... Oh, no, she didn't. Never mind. She didn't have her flash, but in the off chance that she did, then she wouldn't have been able to escape with the slow there. He wanted... Was it Twisted Fate wanted to ult? I don't know if he wasn't in range, or if he just wasn't stupid enough to do that, like, right away. They tell Mundo to run away because Vayne and Lee are fed at this point a little bit. They're not fed, but they're pretty ahead now because these guys are just kind of making these really bad plays. It's a combination of me kind of knowing what I'm supposed to do as support, because one of the most frequent mistakes as a support that you can make is not knowing what your AD carry wants to do, because it's not really that hard to understand what your AD carry wants to do outright, because when Vayne tumbles towards someone, it means she wants to be aggressive. So in that case, I just put a shield on her, and then she does even more damage because the shield also gives AD. So that's really important. Knowing when to be aggressive and when not to be. Like, for example, when your AD carry is going to be aggressive and when she is not. And we end up killing that Sona. I wanted to help kill the Ashe too, but I didn't want to chase for too long because I didn't know where Mundo was. If I had known that he was at top, though, that's one of the powerful things about wards, is that if you know a certain player is at a certain area, like if we knew that Mundo was in the top jungle, we probably could have made that dive pretty easily, especially knowing that Twisted Fate was also at mid. So that's another thing that's important to gauge as support, is what kind of what kind of force are you going to be dealing with, and how effectively can you support against that many people. The best supports can support against all 5 people all the time. That's the ideal situation. Is the support, the best support in the game is one that can keep everyone alive against 5 people at once, no matter what. And someone like Nat Nugan or someone like Madlife from Azubu Blaze, I mean, I think, no, it's not Azubu Blaze, it's Madlife is from Azubu Frost, I apologize. Madlife, you know, those kinds of guys, they know what to do against 5 people. Me, while support is probably my best role right now, I do kind of struggle against 5 people when I'm trying to support, especially against a snowballed team. However, I'm trying to get better at supporting against snowballed teams, because that's something that you need to keep in mind is how can you turn the game around with you as the support. But anyway, I want to move on from what I was talking about just now to talking about the itemization changes in Season 3, because if you guys remember, I talked about it a little bit in my Season 3 review for in my Malphite commentary, the Season 3 Malphite commentary, not the one from Season 2. I talked a little bit about how the support items weren't really needed, and let me explain why. You'll notice, guys, that I kind of have the same items right now that I would have probably gotten in Season 2. And the reason being for that, I don't get Sight Stones because, first off, I think a little bit more health it's alright. I mean, it's good. But that's really the only reason you'd want to get a Sight Stone, because I'm not a big fan of the fact that you only get, like, 2 wards. And, I mean, you get 3 wards on the thing, but you can only have 2 active at once. I figure you might as well just get 2 wards, like, or 3 wards, however many you need, and then just get an unlimited amount of wards. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me why you would want to get a Sight Stone instead, because it costs so much more, just for health and wards at the same time. I just don't find much relevance in that. I don't know what that exhaust was on me for, and I also don't know why the hell this Twisted Fate got exhaust in Flash instead of Ignite in Flash. But anyway, exhausting me was kind of a mistake. He probably would have been better off exhausting Vayne, but I don't think he was in range of him. But anyway, the reason why I think items are just kind of, how do I say it, extraneous on supports at this point. Yeah, a lot of them have a lot of good utility, but a lot of them also are good for a lot of different other different characters, like certain junglers or like certain solo tops. Like, if you'll notice, there's that Twin Shadows item that, like, slows 2 people. That's actually really good on a lot of AP characters that can highly utilize the slows. It's not. It's all right for. I really like it on supports, but it can also be used for other characters. One of the important things to note about itemizations on supports is that they don't really need itemization to make plays, and they don't really need it to do their job. I think items are great. I love the items, but I don't think they were very necessary. I think it added a lot of cluttering. I think Season 3 added a lot that didn't need to be made. I don't know why I tornadoed that way. That was just kind of a panic tornado. And right here, I'm not really making any big plays. I'm just putting the shield on Vayne so she can do more damage. And I wanted to get the Quadra kill, but she ends up tanking the tower there, so it's not safe enough to do that. I ended up shielding her, otherwise she probably would have died to creeps. So there's an example of, if I wasn't there, I mean, she wouldn't have survived. So really something you can take into consideration when playing a good support. It's definitely worthwhile to get good at support if you like being able to make plays. I mean, yeah, you can make plays as like a mid lane, or if you're playing top lane. That's one of the important things of playing solo queue or playing it in ranked, is making plays all the time. But just because you can't kill people doesn't mean you can't take like amazing courses of action. Honestly, I think that if you were like, if you were playing as like a Soraka even, you'd be able to like heal someone or bait something out of your heal. Soraka, contrary to what people believe, is actually a bit stronger, I think, than people give her credit for. Heals still mean a lot. I mean, like, that didn't change. It's just that a lot of Sorakas are stupid in who they heal and when they heal. Like, if you guys ever see my Soraka, you'll notice that I don't just heal when someone's at, like, half health or something stupid like that. I mean, I do if no one else is in lane, and I don't think anyone else is going to come, but the only time I really heal, like, hardcore is... Oh, hang on, I have to watch this part, because this Vayne starts to do a lot of work here. Without my help, even. It's pretty ridiculous. So, I think he might be dead. Yeah, he's probably dead. And now Kha'Zix is there, but he's gonna die too. Because I shield Vayne so that she can dive. And the red buff ends up ticking. I wanted to get the kill just in case. because I probably could have, but I didn't end up needing to, because this Vayne was actually pretty amazing. If you guys keep in mind a lot of Vayne players, you'll know that like a lot of them aren't really very spectacular. Another thing is that Ashe just exploded, which means that I pretty much did my job. Was I supported as I needed to. Vayne probably wouldn't have been able to do what she did if it wasn't for me. Also, unfortunately, I couldn't exactly save the Vayne, but I did end up shielding her, so that means she died 1 second less. Sorry. 1 second, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, that's not important anyway. What's important is that, you need to really keep in mind as support, that you need to frequently make a lot of plays if you're going to play one that's a credit to your team, I suppose you could say. Someone like Nunu or Lulu or Janna are just all characters that can make big plays out of lane. Notice I didn't mention Taric. Taric is good in lane. He's very, very good for a snowballing lane. I love playing Taric when I know my character, I know my AD carry can thrive off of me being aggressive as Taric. However, Taric isn't exactly the best out of lane. He's alright out of lane, but if you'll notice, he's pretty tanky and everything, but all he is someone that can stun like as a follow-up. He's not really somebody that goes in, makes a play, and then like gets out. Usually he's kind of not as effective late game as he was early game. So keep that in mind as Taric is, as Taric or as Leona, someone that's supposed to be effective as a kill lane. If you haven't done your job as a kill lane, you pretty much failed your job. Right here, I come in at the last second, knock up that Janna, and knock up the Kazakhs, and we end up getting that kill pretty easily. They got that fail flash going on there. I don't know what that was about. So that fight pretty much went our way because I was there, and that's another thing you need to keep in mind, is always be with your team as someone like Janna, someone that's supposed to make plays. And you'll notice I keep repeating myself when I say make plays. It's because it's the most important thing of being a support, is being with your team and making sure that these kinds of big team fights or big victories in team fights are because of you, not just because the enemy team made a huge mistake or something. So, anyway, Vayne's pretty much just going to town at this point. Unfortunately, I couldn't save everyone because they kind of did a stupid dive there. She ends up ghosting, but they're not going to catch me. I'm Janna. I'm Janna, bitches. You can't catch me. Anyway, I'm just, I'm providing a bit of vision around the map on those little sections that are really necessary. I do end up walking into Ashe here, but Ashe isn't really that far ahead. I'm not really that scared of her. So I end up helping Jax get godlike because the Ashe is really dumb and doesn't know when Jax is coming. So now Jax is godlike, and I'm helping. I'm apparently Jarvan. So anyway, let's fast forward to the actual gameplay here again. And right here, we're actually converging around Baron because it's going to be a very big objective pretty soon here. And you'll notice that. You'll notice in these coming fights, and I don't know if you have noticed, that I've actually been doing quite a bit of work in these fights. And like I said, you don't have to necessarily really like kill people in order to make these plays. You just have to help people make these important decisions. Another thing is that I keep going back and forth in and out so that I don't just explode if I go in too far. Because I can fight Ashe and everyone, but I can't really do anything about like 4 people attacking me. However, then again, I suppose I could, because at this point I'm pretty far ahead with my AD carry. I've got a lot of items at this point. I suppose what I should have done is, at this point, I probably should have gotten like a Ruby Sightstone, because that's an item that I actually do like, is Ruby Sightstone. I really wanted to kill this. I really wanted everyone to help me kill the Mundo, and I really wanted to... Yeah, there we go. Now we're about to kill him, so that's good. And I pushed Sona away so that she can't get in free damage or anything. But we both know that we're probably not going to get Janna and get out alive because both TF and Kha'Zix are both alive. Kha'Zix wants blood, so I shield... I mean, I want to shield this Lee Sin. However, Vayne stays a little longer than I would have wanted. However, I come back in, help shield this Lee Sin again. Jax and Katarina and everybody, they're just so snowballed at this point that there's nothing they can do. So, as a result, we're just going to kind of go in and push to win at the, right about now. So, hang on a minute. Let me fast forward through here a little bit. I don't know. It's not actually. We're not pushing to win quite yet. Okay, I didn't remember quite correctly. So I get my Aegis. I was gonna get my Runic Bulwark because with Janna you don't really need any AP because all it does is power up your shield. All you really need to do is get really tanky with her. Late game, a Janna that can get really tanky and then put out that constant CC is just gonna do his job really. Is just gonna do her job really effectively. I thought Kha'Zix was behind me, which is why I did that, but it didn't end up being too bad. I wanted to ward there. I didn't know if Kha'Zix wanted to juke back in, so we end up, as I said, we end up winning. I end up surrendering. The Vayne ends up being snowballed, so does Jax and Katarina, and Lee kind of did a bit of work with the Black Cleaver and everything, helped Vayne do a lot more damage. But anyway, that's GG. That's a support commentary. What I think generally about supports, I've pretty much covered in this video, about itemization, about what you're supposed to do when you're a support, and what you need to kind of do depending on what kind of AD carry you have. So, I'll talk to you guys later. See you later.